We all want our homes to be unique and to stand out from the rest. How do we create a space that's truly unique to who we are? Today we take a look at adorning our homes with statement pieces and unique buys. Our guest is interior decorator and blogger Belinda Fourie, who takes us through her unique and cozy home. Our design makers Coote Wench give us a taste of their antique accessories and repurposed items. Then designer and artist Swart of Oksijen shows us what it means to have a home that is one of a kind. Keeping you inspired right here on Design for You. Hi there, I'm Pilani Bubu and you're watching Design for You. Today we take a look at adorning your space with statement pieces and unique buys. We have blogger and decorator Belinda Fourie, but before we chat to her, here's Coote Wench with their antique and repurposed items.
The passage of time often calls for one to welcome change, and sometimes, for the new to come, the old has to be discarded. Well, for Philip and Storm of Coote Wench Design Company, turning what some people would call rusty junk into unique decorative and functional pieces for the home allows them to reveal their timeless value.
Our organisation started about 5 years ago. It's born out of a passion that we have for junking and picking. So when we first moved to Johannesburg, we were here on a bit of a shoestring budget, so we had to be creative about how we decorated our home, and both my husband and I believe we're old souls, so we love things that are old and eclectic and slightly weathered and worn. So we wanted to actually have a bespoke piece of lighting for our dining room, and we went around and we searched a couple of very, very old treasure troves within Johannesburg and found two pieces. One was a tripod and the other was an old street light, and we converted that into our very first light. In terms of the old and unusual, I think that's really what captured our imagination. Nothing worse than walking into a home and seeing the same item, in everybody else's home. You want something that's slightly different, it's got personality, and that actually talks to you as an individual and has your own personal character attached to it. Most of the pieces are old. They either are fairly industrial, and then we've obviously repurposed them into functional items, either in the decor space or in the lighting space. Most of our materials are metal and natural products like wood and granite and stone, but the predominant product that we obviously put in the market is lighting.
So the process starts with, we will be on an excursion and we'll find something that is really interesting, whether it be the tripod, the light, or some other object. In terms of the light, so if we find a nice light, we will then search for a tripod, whether it would be something that we have in stock or we'll find a new one. Then it's the process of making that tripod and the light work together, because the tripods are surveyor's tripods. They are not made to have lights on them. So to make them look like they actually belong together is quite a process. I have a passion for old things. Mainly in automobile kind of area, so hence a lot of number plates and things like that. Lighting, I love working with natural materials and old materials. The workmanship that went into the old things as opposed to the new, the more disposable items that we have these days. There's a craftsmanship which is missing nowadays.
The pieces that are particularly unique and special to us is the first light. It is the old street light that actually started our journey. It is very unique. We've not come across anything like it since in all our searching for pieces and sourcing of items for customers. We've also more recently in our many excursions to junking shops come across some amazing prints, specifically in the engineering space. Very, very recently we were able to wrestle a book of old botanical drawings that my mother-in-law had actually done 60 years ago, and we've actually gone and manufactured those into amazing pieces, and it's a bit of history that we've obviously been able to take from our own family and obviously share with the design world. But to a large degree our pieces vary. No two items are ever alike. and they're limited stock because obviously the pieces that we source are not necessarily available en masse, which makes every piece unique and individual. The third item is our Seth light, and we've actually done a variant on this particular light. So initially it was done in copper, and we've now decided to go for a more monochromatic palette, and it's actually turned out beautifully. Characterize our style as eclectic with a slight industrial tinge to it. So I would say that it can be accommodated in any home. Our stuff is not ultra modern, but it does have a bit of a modern appeal to it, especially if you're looking at the more industrial related spaces such as loft spaces, possibly even small spaces where you need accent pieces. So that would really be the characteristic of our product and what it would add to someone's home.
I'm with Belinda Fourie of Tassels and Tigers, and she's a design all-rounder. She is a blogger, a writer, an interior decorator. Welcome, Belinda.
Thank you for having me.
Please, can you break down what it is that you actually do?
It's quite multifaceted, but basically I'm an interior decorator. I focus on online consultations and online services, and then I blog and write about that and about lifestyle issues. I have done some reviews on restaurants and art and that sort of thing. Mostly I do decor tips, trends for my own blog and some other people's online magazines and physical magazines. I studied journalism and worked as a writer for a bit before I became an interior decorator. So when I started my decor company, it was natural to include writing about decor and lifestyle and all those things along with my business.
That makes sense. What inspired you to actually take up decorating?
It was actually moving into my first home, and
As always the case with a lot of people.
I think so. I've always loved it, and I only realized that afterwards. I loved picking things, making them fit, moving them around, that sort of thing, and I absolutely love fabric stores. I love going to fabric stores.
I love fabric stores myself.
So that all kind of accumulated. And
I think it's a beautiful extension, you know, from writing into writing about something that you're actually passionate about.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about what you actually do in the business. I know that it's, you know, you create decor in a box is what you call it.
Correct.
Tell us about that.
Decor in a box I'm really passionate about. It's decor for every man, so people,
and women,
of course. People often feel intimidated by going to a decorator. They think it's going to be expensive, they think they're going to be judged, or their house is going to be all stiff. So it's very approachable, and at the same time the client gets input into their home. What they do is they do an online consultation, which is the way all my services start. We get to know each other. I get to get a feel for what they like and the things that inspire them. They give me their budget. Then I'll work with that budget and compile things that are along the theme or the inspiration which they like. I'll pick up a few items, some scatters. Some of them I have tailor-made with designer fabrics, or I just look around for pieces that complement each other, and I send that to the client in a mood board or a sample board. And then once they're happy with it, they get a box delivered to their home. They get to decorate it themselves, paint the wall, whatever they want to do. And they've got a decorated room.
I didn't see that coming, that they get a box. I was like, it's out the box, it's different. Or
No, it's in a box. It arrives at your door, you unpack everything and you can do it yourself. And I can also send a room layout to make sure that, you know, they incorporate the design principles and rules into their room design.
I really love your idea. Does it allow you to do a lot more than just, you know, kind of being in so many homes? You can just send boxes and boxes of stuff that you've shopped for to different individuals.
Absolutely. If people would, you know, want that sort of thing and we have a good understanding of what their style is and they trust me, I could definitely just
I often find that there's like this difficulty between the balance of like the client wanting to do it themselves, potentially not having time, but actually it is their job. They just need a little bit of help, and I love what you're doing with that.
Definitely. You can immediately pick up when a home was done by a decorator without much input from the client. It just looks decorated, you know, you don't see the client's personality, you don't get a sense of who they are, where they've been, what's important to them. It's paramount in decorating.
Let's talk about the mood boards that you create. I know like not everyone thinks that they can decorate on such a small budget,
Yes.
but you're going to tell us how today, how to get those unique buys and statement pieces. But before we get into that, because it is such an accessible process with you, let's run them through what that actually is.
Okay, so this is an example of a physical sample board that I've done for someone. A sample board meaning the actual things that are going to be in their home. So here I've done what is an electronic mood board or sample board, sorry. And we actually got all these items for the client in their home. They had this couch and we added all those things. Then I've added the actual paint
colours,
swatches that we're going to paint the walls. And this was what we put on the curtains, and these were some scatters, and these were tassels for the curtains. So I will send this actual thing to a client if that's the service that they opt for. Because
So you don't meet with them in person?
we meet online or we do the online consultation. If they want to meet in person, we can do that. People don't always have time for that.
So where did the name Tassels and Tigers come from?
That's a question I often get. I am greatly inspired by literature and anything with a theme, anything that gets you excited, something that speaks to your soul, that you're passionate about. I really like Princess Tiger Lily from Peter Pan. That's where tigers come from. And I also like the animal. It's a strong animal. It's got some character. It's interesting, that sort of thing. And tassels, it's everything that's luxurious, everything that's beautiful, that's over the top. And I combine the two of those.
After the break, Belinda's going to take us through her home and what makes it unique. Stay tuned. I still have Belinda Fourie with me, and we're talking statement pieces and unique buys. Belinda, tell us what makes your home so unique.
I think I've got a lot of collectibles, is probably a good word to use. It's pieces that I've inherited or that I've picked up along the way, travels, little stores, knickknacks, that sort of thing, or pieces that people have given to us that, they chose for us specifically. So I'm quite sentimental in that I like to incorporate that in my home if it works. If it doesn't work, I can be quite brutal and say, pack it away, it doesn't work. It doesn't pick up on anything. For example, I've got a typewriter in my office that I saw in an antique store once, and I just loved it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I didn't know I was going to have my own business and work from home, but it works perfectly there. And I've got lots of different art pieces and that sort of thing.
And essentially what you've said now is that it's the things that actually tell a story about who you are, what you like, and you've basically brought those things together. Can you pick out some of the other pieces that you have? I know you've mentioned a lot of the art on the walls.
Yes, right. I've got a black gallery wall in my living room where I've mounted some of the artworks my parents have done, wood carvings, which are obviously very special to me. And I've combined it with some of the pencil drawings that I've done and pictures from our travels, that sort of thing. We've got in our passage, we've got our very first artwork that we bought together as a wedding gift. It's a big, old, loud, comfy chair, and it just makes a massive statement.
How do you actually bring all these items together in the home to make sure that they stand out?
Arrangement is absolutely key in combining these things. You have to look at what they pick up on. If something's got a certain color and you want to use it, you combine it with other things with the same color. It doesn't even have to be the same style. If you don't find a color that works, then you look at style or you look at a theme.
You've also got lots of bold colors on the walls. Tell us the story around how you've arranged that.
I do. I've got loads of
loads.
colors.
I can't count. I went beyond 5 in my
like
fingers.
a Lego box.
It's the boldest house I've been in a while.
That's because I really can't decide. So the red I chose because that red chair in the entrance hall was the first piece that I actually bought when I started working. It spoke to me. I loved the deep buttons, I loved the bold color, and I actually arranged the whole living room according to that chair. It's old now, but I still like it. So what I did is I had some red feature walls that picked up on each other opposite end of the room, and then combined it with lots of neutrals to tone that down because it can be quite a loud, intimidating color. So I've got lots of blacks and grays and, earthy neutral tones to just tone down the red a little bit. It's very important to not get pieces just go missing, because sometimes people have a lovely piece that they just put in the wrong spot and no one ever sees it or just looks out of place. So for example, what I've done on my art wall is I've put light pieces and wood neutral pieces only on a black wall, so they really pop out. And on the opposite wall it's white and I've put some black pieces on there, so you get that reversed but complementary effect that balances the room. I've put some black scatters on a cream neutral couch opposite the black wall, so you keep getting that reference back and forth and it just creates harmony. In another space I've got my first antique buy, which was a writing bureau when I started my business, and I just had to have it. Now it's standing in my entrance hall because I'm not using it, it's too small to work on, but it fills the space without cramping the space. And I've got my art books, which are also fairly old and look pretty antique-y, displayed on that. I've got it's a Croxley record player. It looks antique, it looks old, but it isn't. And that's just a way that you can tie things together, old and new things, by picking up on themes.
Is that red rug also a piece that you've kind of pulled together? Because my eye keeps going there,
Yes.
naturally.
So that picks up on the red chair. It was a gift actually from my mum-in-law when we moved into our home. She said, go buy yourself a rug, and that's what we chose. We wanted a red one because it picks up on the red chair and the red walls, and a scatter with little red mouths on the red chair. So you don't really see it, but your eye picks up on it. And those are golden threads that go throughout the house.
Yes, and then the antique theme in itself, you know, a lot of the time I find really begs a lot of warm colours. Is that a consideration set for you with the reds and some of the colours you've used?
A large reason why I used the red was to modernize the antiques a little bit, because it can become very dark and overpowering and cluttered. So I tried to bring modern elements into that. Bold colours, as you can see, I've got loads of bold colours in the home, and some pieces that people may even consider kitschy sometimes.
Yeah.
Just evens out the antique stuffiness a bit.
Thank you, Belinda. Every week a viewer sends us a picture of their home and they need a little bit of advice from us. Can we do this one sitting down? Belinda, this viewer quite simply wants to make their bedroom as warm as the lounge. This is the lounge and this is their bedroom.
They've done a really good job in creating a warm feel in the lounge by using textures, even though they've only got neutrals. So they should do the same thing in the bedroom. Definitely get a rug or a carpet. Just make sure it's big enough so that it covers either the entire size of the bed and the bedside tables, or at least the bottom half of the bed. Definitely not just in front of the bed or on the sides. Something with a bit of texture and just lends warmth to the tile floor. I would suggest getting a headboard. Either that, a nice velvet, deep button, fluffy headboard, or doing another collage on the wall with some more pictures. What's going on there is great, but it is a bit empty. And more texture on the bed. I would definitely add another throw to the bed, something that's got a little bit of texture, either a chunky knit or a furry kind of throw. And I would also actually mount that mirror. It would create a little bit of space in the area.
Fantastic. I think the viewer's off to a very good start. Thank you, Belinda. All the best to you, and to all the other viewers, please do mail us on info@thehomechannel.co.za. Very happy to give you advice for free from some of our industry experts. After the break, we have Lisa Swart of Oksijen, and she's going to show us how she's uniquely designed 2 homes. Stay tuned. You're still watching Design for You, and here's Lisa Swart, and she's redecorated 2 homes where she's selected unique items to pull together.
There are certain decorative pieces that can fill an entire room with life. A statement piece or two allows a space to tell a story about those living in it. Lisa Swart of Oksijen Interiors has transformed 2 homes using unique buys as statement pieces.
A statement piece is something bold and daring. And also a statement piece normally anchors the room. It influences and dictates the style of the rest of the house. It's a feature piece and it is a conversation piece. So when people come into your house, they're going to go, oh my goodness, what is that? And where did you get that? That's a statement piece. I love using the client's things, like the stuff they've been accumulating over the years and things they love, and I group them together in a collection, and that makes a statement. The style of this home is kind of eclectic, but it is also classic. And because it is a mixture of everything that the client loves, it's inherited items, it's items that she's been collecting. It becomes like an amalgamation of her own style and who she is. So this particular house is very much a reflection of the client. In this room, the armoire, your eye gets drawn towards it, you know, and it like holds everything together. The plates, we have decided to put them together on the wall, but not in a conventional way, like one plate next to the other. So we put them together in one big grouping. And the lights were just arranged in the same kind of way as the plates over the dining room table. The paintings used to be all over the house on different walls. So what we did is just we brought them together where they can all talk to each other, and it creates a kind of gallery wall. The lighting was also done to show off the paintings. There's a Delft collection as well. Some of the pieces are antique and some of the pieces are not even Delft. So you can also do that. I love doing that, where you get something that's antique and old and you put something modern next to it. And that works as well. The main bathroom, we extended with about 1.5 meters, and we added in a massive window with some shutters, and she wanted a Victorian bath. And we also went and found an antique server, which we refurbished into a vanity. I love using tiles as a statement, and then just be really bold with the tiles, and then the rest of the decor is just plain. My client always had a love for the Mexican tiles, and for the teenager's bathroom, we decided on some geometric patterns in pink and blue and yellow and green, and we kept everything white in the bathroom except for the tiles. So thus creating a statement on the floor.
Lisa's used a combination of old and new treasures to create a home that welcomes a fresh look whilst allowing family memories to live on. Not too far from this lovely home, an apartment has been tailored to fit a well-travelled career woman whose life is definitely not short of colour.
So this apartment we've refurbished and decorated for a client that returned from living abroad. So this apartment is open plan, and we've created different areas, different living areas. So the kitchen is kind of separate already because it's got a bar counter, but it's got its own statement piece, which I think is the tile splashback. They are a kind of orangey red, and that color then carries through to the rest of the apartment. The dining room area, it has also its own statement piece, which I reckon is the light fixture. And then to divide the two spaces, the dining area and the living room area, we have the glass cabinet. She brought with her all her items from Nigeria and from Ghana, especially the fabrics. So instead of putting all the fabrics in the closet and closing it up, we put it in a glass display case and made a statement piece out of it.
In the living room, Lisa's displayed the client's books in a colour-coded arrangement, adding interest to the space.
There's a lot of colour in the books and the art, and it sort of complements each other. The art is very personal. Art was made by friends, and a lot of the art was acquired while travelling, so it makes the space very personal. I call the style of this home travel chic, because you can see from the pieces that she's collected over time that she's been places, and you can tell every piece that is here she bought because she just loved it.
When looking for a unique item that'll put your stamp on your home, choose something that's special and meaningful to you, because you're likely to live with it for a very long time.
Thank you, Lisa, for showcasing these uniquely themed homes. Belinda, before we close the show, we'd love one final piece of advice from you.
Sure. I would tell people, don't think that you have to go out and buy all new furniture and look for new statement pieces. Normally, you'll just find them. They will find you. They'll come looking for you and you'll see it and you'll know that you need this in your home. Then work with what you've got as far as possible and rather ask someone to help you to incorporate that into your home than throwing everything out and getting all new stuff.
Thank you very much, Belinda, and for having us in your home. It's been pretty demonstrative.
My pleasure.
Thank you to you for tuning in. We've come to the end of the show. Thanks for watching Design for You. From me, Pilani Bubu, this is Design for You. We're here to keep you inspired.